Hello, my name is Tony. Today's briefing will cover my preliminary operational approach on Iran's foothold on the Strait of Hormuz and what desired end state and conditions are needed to provide a deterrent posture to expedite their removal from Abu Musa and regaining control of the strait. Iran continues to frustrate U.S. and surrounding Middle East interests by aggressively seeking nuclear capabilities and proliferation, and to be recognized as a leader in plutonium development. Additionally, recent aggressive acts by Iran have caught the attention of the UN, not to mention violation of the UN Treaty Part 7, Articles 41, 42, and 51. The problem is threats from Iran have disrupted import and export operations by occupying the strait while pursuing their quest to continue nuclear dominance. This chart depicts several current state activities to consider before determining what operational approach is taken. First, we examine the seas and what advantages they may offer. The deepest, Arabian Sea, could provide some options as it relates to the source of contention within the Gulf region. Secondly, the other source of concern are the Eastern Arab states and how best to protect them from violent extremist organizations and Iranian island invasions. Third, the center of the chart depicts issues that have impacted or may have impacted countries on both sides. For example, the UAE and Oman's close proximity with Iran may pose a significant risk, and Iran, who possibly seeks to continue invading other islands, and also a significant impact military drawdowns. From the previous scenario, preliminary conditions were determined for our end state, secure restore operations to the strait, to alleviate our current state, Iranian control of the strait. For this to take place or shape, conditions were identified to meet the intent of the end state. As the Secretary thought, we must ask, how can we meet these conditions without escalating and inserting the military IOP? The conditions identified are implement military IOP, deter evading islands, strait controls stopped, and deter posturing of Abu Musa by Iranian military forces. As a result, three preliminary objectives were created to further assess the situation by identifying critical capabilities, requirements, and vulnerabilities. Objective 1, increase naval operations, deter Iranian naval forces, and protect the Eastern Arab states. As shown, the chart depicts a preliminary operational approach and overview using joint operations with Naval C2 Command Authority with Army Air Force support. To meet each objective, I considered the critical requirement as C2 capabilities, facilities, carriers, insertion of Marine units, and bolstering of forward operating bases. For critical vulnerabilities, I included leadership continuity, logistics, preventing attacks by Iran on naval vessels, controlling violent extremist organizations or VEOs, mining of the seas, and suppression of enemy air defenses. With that said, this poses some questions and assumptions. How can we meet the intent of the requirements and what must be done to avoid exploiting our vulnerabilities? Will the identification of some or all requirements and vulnerabilities meet the intent of the objectives? And finally, will the objectives meet the intent of the operational approach? This concludes this portion of the briefing. and I look forward to your feedback, questions, and suggestions. Thank you.